y'all. Welcome back.
Or welcome to Black. I'm one of your hosts, Dominique, aka Big Dom. Yeah.
And I'm your other host, Naya, aka Melly Bell. What it do?
What's happening? Welcome back.
Yeah,
We're
back.
gonna switch gears this time. We actually have a more value conversation we want to talk about. I
Yes.
think Nye and I had a really good idea to talk about this because we all can relate, even generation ahead of us, behind us, the current generation, we can all relate to this. And we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about just the culture and how we value material things more than our own selves. Like we have become a slave to money, to luxury items, to get in the bag, to just all types of hoopla, and it has no value to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. For sure. So yeah, so both of us agree that in new times, in today's times,
Mm-hmm.
okay, we're not slaves. We don't have chains on our ankles and chains on our, necks and on our wrists and all of these things. But if you
Mm-hmm.
think about it, we are slaves to consumerism. A lot of people are. And I can say that I am to a certain degree. I don't think that I value material things as much as other people do, but that is definitely a big part of our society and our culture, black
Mm-hmm.
people, black culture to be specific. Like that's a big thing. Like I feel like our influences really our influences really highlight
Mm-hmm.
being the person with the brightest chain on, with the nicest clothes on, with the designer and all of that. And honestly, bro, like I always refer back to this, like with music, bro, when Cash Money and Lil Wayne and all them came out with the every time I come around, you see that bling bling, bling bling. I'm telling you, after that's like 2000s, but after that, it kind of shot up to me. Like, of course, LL Cool J and Snoop Dogg and them. Well, not even Snoop Dogg. I don't even think like back in the day, I seen him with a whole bunch of chains and stuff. I mean, he had on nice clothes and stuff, but person I think of back in the day that had on just a big old chain was like LL Cool J, had that big old chunky chain, or Run DMC,
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah.
But I feel like it just wasn't as prominent as it was back then. And
Mm-hmm.
we want to be like the people that we see every day on TV. So
Yeah.
that media stuff, the more it's pushed on us, the more we get influenced.
Absolutely. I believe it's time we stop confusing our net worth with our self-worth. We're so
Hmm.
quick to judge somebody based off their job status, their what kind of shoes you got, your car, and we're not looking at people's heart, their hustle, their healing, their purpose in life. We're just so quick to see what can you do for me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it's just sad that we're like that now as a culture. It's just I feel we're just so ass backwards now. Like
Hmm.
we focus more on things that don't give us value,
Hmm.
and we're chasing things that don't mean anything. Like by another month or so, whatever you were fixated on right now, within a couple weeks to a month, you may not feel that same way. Once you get something that you want so bad, after a while, you're not going to even care about it. And it's
Mm.
just the cycle carries on. So how do we change that? So now and I have some questions that we came up with that we're going to talk about and both give our responses to. So the first one I have here is, do we truly believe we are enough without material things?
Generally speaking, I don't think that we think we're enough without material things. All of our goals, even some of my goals, are surrounded by material things. Like one of the things that I want to make sure that I get a house. I want to build a house for my family. Now, that's a material thing, but it's also kind of in the value of just making sure that my family always have a place to stay.
I would say
With
that's
somebody.
stability, though. I want to look at that
Yeah.
more with material. That's stability. Yeah.
Right. But
Mm-hmm.
just that was just like an example, or like because I
Yeah.
want a Bronco. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
want. It's gonna be mine. But you know what I'm saying? But anyways, I do think that we value material things way more. I think that that's one thing that is kind of separating men and women as well, because
Mm-hmm.
women, we are being persuaded to value these things that men give us and make sure they pay for all the days, make sure they give you gifts and everything. And that puts like that's valuing the material thing and not valuing how he actually treats you, because he
Mhm.
can buy you all the
Mhm.
things, you know what I mean, and
Yep.
treat you like dirt. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So yeah, I do think that we wait. Um I think that we don't sometimes people put their value, like their inner value, who you are as a person is who you should be
Mhm.
valuing instead of the things that you have on. Like I have on
Mhm.
this dress or whatever, and I might think I'm pretty with this dress on. Okay, cool. But if I didn't have on this dress on, if I had on some scrubs or whatever, I should still think I'm pretty. I should still think I'm beautiful. I should still think that I'm worth it in the end. So
Yeah.
yeah. Hmm.
Absolutely. No, I agree with you. I also too feel that we don't believe we're truly enough without material things. I think it's just we do so much for validation, for likes, to be on the in the in crowd, and just to be with the, you know what I'm saying, just to be with the popularity. I think a lot of it comes into play too. And what we listen to, our influences, especially with music, we all follow celebrity. We all have somebody that we idolize. And I think we get brainwashed sometimes because we start to compare. We don't think we are doing that, but we're comparing, like, oh, I want that. Or I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to get those things. I want to get that. And if you did not seen that before, if you haven't seen it before, you probably would not have cared to have get it. You know what I'm saying? So we get influenced by things that we don't necessarily need in life. And
Hmm.
I just think over time we're going down a wrong path. And this is not for everybody. There's some people who are very just in tune and aware of how they are. I'm a firm believer in simplicity. Simplicity is key. I don't like doing too much. I don't like complicated shit. I don't like complex things. If it's too much, I'm just not doing it. Like I'm cool. But a lot of other people kind of just follow the trend and follow the crowds, and you end up just in a situation where you're like, does this really even make me happy now? Do I even like this? I've been in situations where I made good money and I was still depressed. So it's
Hmm.
just like those type of things, material things don't mean shit to me. When I was talking to a couple guys, sometimes when I was out there dating a little bit, they'd be so quick talk about money and just like, oh yeah, I do this and I make that and I'm able to do this and do that. Like, cool. You talking about external things. What are you on the
Right.
inside? How are you going to treat me? How can you talk to me when I feel down? How are you going to be there for me when I'm not having the greatest day? How are you going to, cheer for me when I can't cheer for myself? That's the type of stuff
Mm.
I'm looking for in a person than the material things. We're so focused on external shit and crap that doesn't make no sense. And it's just that's what really makes me such a turn off from dating in the generation we are in now, because it's just so backwards. I don't like it. No.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
for sure. And to go back to what you said about celebrities, I think now because of social media, it's people that are famous that really shouldn't be famous. Like anybody
Mm-hmm.
can get famous now. And I feel like we put these people on a pedestal and
Mm-hmm.
they're idolized and you don't even know their true values. They're idolized for the wrong things. They're idolized for what they
Yeah.
have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're not famous because of who they are or, their character and a lot of stuff like that, but they're idolized or they're famous because their Instagram posts got 100,000 views or anything like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
one person that I would say is from what I see, one person that is like coming up that is famous and that you can kind of tell that he's like down to earth is like Casanet. Like I feel like he's come from the Bronx or whatever. He got, famous because of streaming and stuff. But when you think about the idea of streaming and what it is, it's just like recording your authentic self. And I mean, he been recording since he was back, in the Bronx or whatever. I didn't mean to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, no disrespect. No,
Yeah.
Bronx. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, like I feel like with him, he shows his character because his character is how he, developed his fan base because those are people that's watching him and stuff like that. And you can tell that he's very mindful about the energy that he has around and stuff like that. And that's one person that I think, America got right. You know what I'm saying? When making
Hmm.
famous and stuff like that. And I'm not to say that he's perfect or anything, but a lot of these people that are famous, people just making them famous because they look good and because of the
Yeah,
things that they got, not because of
exactly.
who they are. And I think with streaming, you really break through the wall because of who you are. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's not really to show off anything because what you gonna show off? You're really just showing off yourself unless you're
that's
being
it.
um ingenuine while streaming. A lot of people can see through that. But
Hmm.
yeah, I just wanted to say that. Yeah. So the next question is it possible that we chase luxury because we were never taught to love ourselves without it?
Ooh, that's a
I
good
think
one.
I think it's yes.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't know what had changed or what happened. I think to me, I feel like a lot of people don't know how to be alone and they don't truly know themselves. So they
mhm,
fill that void by doing the things that make them happy. But yet, like, for example, for me, I was always feeling like, okay, I need to go. Maybe if I move over here, I'll feel better. Maybe if I go do this, I'll feel better. And I never would feel better. Like the problem was always inside me. I didn't
mhm,
know that it was a problem until I dug deeper into like, why am I feeling like this? Why do I feel like I accomplished so many goals. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But yeah, I still feel just not satisfied, you know? And it wasn't until I just kind of did more internal work on myself. And now, no matter where I go, despite what problems I may face, I'm grounded with who I am as a person and I can get myself back in a good mental status, a good mental
mhm,
health. Because I think a lot of people, what is it called? Retail therapy. They do a lot of just impulsive spending to find items to make them feel good, and there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. Like we all do it. We all buy things. I'm a gym clothes. I love buying gym clothes. Like that's my thing. But then it comes to a point like now you're having bad financial spending and bad financial habits, and now you're claiming you're broke. I don't have no money because why? You're buying things to make you feel good, but not doing things internally to make yourself feel good. So we
yes.
we're used to loving luxury to make us feel good. Because don't get me wrong, when you out in a 5-star restaurant or 5-star resort, you catching flights, you first class, you feel like you live shit, you
Mhm,
know? But
mhm,
that's not normal life for everybody. And so
mhm,
we subject ourselves to live that lifestyle, but yet we're just putting ourselves in a deeper hole that is
mhm.
harder to get out of. And you turn out to be depressed and have anxiety and all other types of mental health because you truly don't know who you are without the luxury items.
Yeah, definitely. I think that our identity is the biggest thing that
Mm-hmm.
if you lose your sense of who you are and like you lose that foundation of who you are, then you are easily swayed by outer things that are happening in your life. Losing a sense of your identity is a real thing, and I think that a lot of people are going through that and they don't realize it because they don't spend that time with themselves, like
Mm-hmm.
you were saying. So yeah, I do think that when people have a whole bunch of people around them, they got an entourage around them, they don't never spend time by themselves. I think that's why a lot of, rich people and people with a lot of money and stuff like that, that's why they be the most depressed because
Yeah.
they forgot who they were without it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They can say, I'll never forget the hood. I'll never forget where I come from. But at the end of the day, bruh, like you can get washed up, bro. You can get
Mm-hmm.
jaded and
Mm-hmm.
all this stuff that's around you and stuff, you got constantly a lot of opinions thrown in your face. You have so many different people that you're seeing every day. I was telling hold on. What was I saying? I think me and you were having a conversation the other day, and I was saying to like guard your eye gate and your ear gate. Like that is
Mm-hmm.
a real thing.
Yep.
And I feel like throughout my life, a lot of the times I would pull from other people and pull from other people's opinions and I let that define me when I shouldn't have. I define me. Really God defines me. And it wasn't until I really got my relationship back on track with God is when I realized who I was. Whoever your source is or whatever, when you pray and stuff like that, your creator is really who you need to talk to. He know you or she or whoever you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
yeah, like getting back and connecting back to source which is inside of you
Mhm.
as well as on the outside of you.
Mhm.
It's just that's how you'll know your identity. It doesn't matter what religion you're in or whatever, but that's how you know. So I do think that, throughout our lives, especially black people, they don't want us to know who we are because we are so powerful. They don't want us to, that's the whole reason why, when they took us from Africa and all that stuff. That's why
Mhm.
they freaking whitewashed us and gave us new names. They didn't want us to know where we came from. And that didn't stop from when we were taken from Africa. Like, during the Jim Crow and all that stuff, they was calling us the N-word, ER, hard ER. They was
Hard
calling us
R.
that. They was calling us freaking
Mhm.
monsters and stuff like that. And you think
Monkey.
that this doesn't affect you and you think
Mhm.
that it's just words, but words are so powerful. Like words are so powerful. And I hate when people downplay what words like mean and the power that they have. It's true. It's a lot of trauma that our ancestors went through that we're still going through today. Like,
Mhm.
okay, real quick. I know we need to wrap it up, but
Mhm.
okay, so today, this is a pre-recorded episode. So today, Justin Bieber dropped his new album. And somebody said on Twitter, they was like, that he's reaching out to the black community again. He must be going broke. And I'm just like, bruh. I'm just like, bro, okay. Now, mind you, okay, this is what I said, but I said, bruh, God forbid black people got an ally, bro. Why can't we just not, why we always gotta speak from trauma? Like, why we always
Mhm.
gotta have ill intentions? Like, think everybody got
Yes.
ill intentions with the black community. Now,
Yes.
mind you, I know that Justin Bieber done said some stuff, and I didn't realize he got married on a plantation and all. Somebody replied back to me and said he got married on a plantation and he done said
Uh,
nigga a couple of times and
yeah.
made racist jokes. But this is my thing though, bruh. When I seen him say the N word, first of all, he was like 13, and number one. And people gotta give graces. I mean, I know not all white people is good white people, but some white people really just be like not knowing, honestly and truly. Like they're around, you gotta think, they're around other white people. Like we're around mostly black people. So they're influenced by who they're around. And
Right.
sometimes, like having those black friends and having those black people that you're around, it pulls them out. You sometimes we gotta teach motherfuckers. So, like, excuse my language, but like that got on my nerves, bro. Like, damn, why can't he just have a good album and just have
Yeah.
Sexy Red and whoever on there? Why he gotta be going broke?
Exactly. No,
You
I
know?
feel you on
I was
that.
just like, what the hell? Damn, JB.
Society we live in, man. I tell you that.
Yeah, so I know that was kind of left field, but
No, it's
I
okay.
seen that today, but I couldn't say nothing back to the girl because I was like, you know what? I didn't know that his I didn't know, but he probably didn't know either. Shit, or maybe he
Yeah.
did. I don't know.
Hey, shout out to Justin Bieber. All right, so the next second to last question that we have is, are we free? We kind of talked about this.
Yeah.
Are we free, or are we just new slaves bound not by chains but by consumerism
Yep, I
and
don't think
money?
that we're free. I think a lot of people are starting to realize that consumerism is really an American problem.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas capitalism is like the
Yep.
biggest thing in
Mm-hmm.
America. I see more people going to Thailand, to China, to all of these places where money, well, the cost of living there isn't as much as it is in America.
Correct.
And you see these people and you see them talking about their lifestyle, there, and you just see that they're more relaxed, they're more calm, and it's because they're not worried about everyday expenses like here
Expenses,
in
right?
America.
Mm-hmm.
So it's crazy that here in America, all this stuff is way more expensive, but we get the most like we got the biggest market. Like they want
Mm-hmm.
us to spend Black Friday, Christmas, all
Mm-hmm.
this stuff. But
Amazon
hell,
Prime deals. Yeah, so much, so much.
yeah.
Yep,
So
I
yeah,
agree.
I do think that we're still slaves. And it's
Yep.
not just black people now, it's everybody.
It's not, it's everybody. I feel like everybody who lives in America has that feeling of like, I'm just a slave to the paycheck, to the money, because our livelihood. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some people who have it harder than others. I get
Yes.
that. But most Americans will all somewhat have a form of struggle. You know, we're all not blessed to make that same amount of money the next person does, depending on your job status, you know. So everybody's hustling out here, you know, but it just comes to a point, you know, I want to be able to live my life. Hold on. So my mentor had told me this. My
Okay.
mentor had said this saying to me when I was doing my mentorship with him, that we want to be able to live to work, not have to work to live. I
Yeah.
guess we all need to have bills pay, a roof over our head, car, gas in our car, pay our note, whatever, yada yada yada. But there comes a point where we're just constantly having to be in survival mode. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I don't always want to be in survival mode. I want to be financially free. That's my goal, you know. That's what I strive to be. I don't care for all the luxury items. I want to be financially free. So I don't have to
Mm-hmm.
worry about my next paycheck, live paycheck to paycheck, you know, and be a slave to consumerism, because that's essentially what we're all doing. We're all having to live by money. We need money, 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 like Mr. Krabs.
Mm-hmm. Money,
So
money, money, money,
money, money, money, money,
money.
money. So yes, it's a sad time we're living in. You know, everything's going up. Shit is hard out here for a lot of us, and you know, it's just over time. I think we just got to learn to make better financial decisions, because anybody can be financially free. You just gotta make a sacrifice for the
Yeah,
greater.
you gotta make a sacrifice and you gotta be informed. You know, a lot of the black culture isn't informed. I think we're getting more informed now, but you
Mm-hmm.
know, they didn't teach us. You know what I'm saying? They kept things from us so they can keep us under. You know what I mean? So as long as you know, are able to be coachable and learn from somebody, don't think you know everything. You
Mm-hmm.
can. You know, we have the resources now. We have the internet, so you're able to make some money now. Like there's no excuse.
Yeah.
You can't say that you know they didn't tell you because it's so many young black people, young black men, young black women that is getting money now, that is becoming financially free. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not doing that, you're not on your way, then it's really on you.
Period.
Facts. What are we teaching the next generation to value? So neither one of us got kids, but what are we teaching the next generation to value? Do you
Nah,
think?
shit.
Oh,
Not a damn thing. Let's be real. Like we're really not. I'm seeing
it's
a
the
lot
same thing.
a lot of these kids are just going down. Not saying they can't be corrected. They're still young, you know, they can learn on their own, but what we show them about, you know, the nice cars, like, oh yeah, look at your mom, look at your dad. We driving the new Mercedes Benz, like, so about cars. We're just idolizing material things for our kids, because we're showing them how hard we work. Like we want to be, I feel like adults, we don't have kids, they want to be praised by their children about how hard we work to give you nice things, right?
Yeah.
So I think these kids are realizing, like, okay, when I grow up, I want to be able to have nice things. There's nothing wrong with that, but it comes with a price. Like you have to work so many hours. You got to sacrifice family time. You got to sacrifice doing things you like to do the things to get the things you want. You got to do things you never had to get the things you never, I'm sorry, you got to do things you never did to get the things you never had. And I
Yes.
think that's what we're showing our younger generation. And there's not much guidance within that, because who's to say they want that? Who's to say they want to have these nice cars? These kids might be like, I want to be an astronaut. I want to be able to go explore the world and look and live on the moon and stuff like that. But we're not teaching them that. We're not teaching them. I feel like we're not listening to what these kids want, you know what I'm saying? Or give them that option of, what do you want in life besides having a roof, having a good job, having money to spend in a good savings account? What else do you want? We're not listening to kids like that as much. No.
I feel that. I feel that. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I hear a lot of young parents and just parents in general these days. I hear a lot of them say, you know, they're working so hard so they can give their kids the life that they never had. You know what I'm
Correct.
saying? And I don't
Yes.
think that that's a bad thing, but I also think that, you know, coming up from the mud, from the gristle, all of these things teaches you something. It teaches you humility, and it teaches you what else? I think it teaches you like valuing the journey instead of the
Mm-hmm.
end goal. You know, I
Yep.
think that's some benefits into getting it from nothing or whatever. Now, I
Yeah.
will say that I just think that giving your kids the life that you haven't or that you didn't have, I think
Mhm.
that's a good thing, but I think that it just puts another lesson on you to
Mhm.
teach those values, to instill those values into your child a different way. So now, since they have everything that you didn't have, now how are you going to teach them how to be humble? How are you going to teach them how to work for the things that, that they want? And sometimes I feel like because a person has the resources or whatever, you're willing to give them whatever they want. And that's sometimes what they expect out of life. And
Yes.
then that's where the disconnect
Title.
comes.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, and then
Mhm.
plus we got the internet and stuff now with these kids, and they're easily influenced, and they have a lot of their own social media and stuff like that. So I think that, limiting the screen with these kids, I think that will also help instill better values within them, so they're not just easily influenced. I mean, I thought that we were influenced by media, but I know these kids are
Oh
for
man, because they
sure
have
10
so much
times.
access to the internet now. Like even
Mm-hmm.
when you do child lock and all that, that don't mean they can't go to school and go look at somebody else's phone and be put on to some new information, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
it's hard out here. I can only imagine trying to protect your child from all this new age technology and just finding out things you don't want them to find out so soon. But
Yep,
that's a
exactly.
conversation for another time. We don't want to get too deep into it right now. You know, we're trying to keep it short, sweet, and to the point. And I
Yeah.
think we did. We had a good couple questions.
Great
Feel free
conversation.
to comment down below what you think about the questions we have asked each other.
Mhm.
And Miss Naya, when you're ready, you're going to close us out in prayer.
All right, y'all. If you could close your eyes and bow your heads. Father God in heaven, thank you so much for this wonderful day. Thank you for bringing us all here together. Whenever our audience is watching this, God, I pray that whenever we feel empty, whenever we feel kind of lonely, or whenever we feel like we're not enough, God, I pray that we turn to you, and we turn to you, and we have a sit down with you, and we have an intimate moment with you. And I pray that you remind us of our value, remind us that we are imperfectly made, but we're perfect in your eyes, God. I pray that anyone that is going through an identity crisis, God, I pray that you put 10 toes down into their heart, into their soul, into their spirit as to who you are. And I pray that you remind them that you are within them. You are within every one of your children. So God, I just thank you so much for being a solid rock in this ever-changing world in all of our lives. And in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you so
Amen.
much. Received,
Welcome.
received. If you guys like this video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel at Black Wave. If you haven't already been following us on Instagram and TikTok, it is at Black Podcast underscore. And if you're watching this and you want to bring a topic and be a guest star on an episode, please email us at blackgroup8@gmail.com. We'll look over the information you provided and get back to you very quickly because we're looking for some guests, some
Yeah,
people
we
to
need
come.
some guests. We haven't had a guest in a long time.
We
Like,
have not.
it's
Yeah.
been a minute. We need some, and we need some ladies too, bruh. Like, a lot of the guests that we've been vetting to be on here, it's been niggas. I mean, it's been men, and that's fine. But we haven't had no girls. Like, y'all cool?
Well,
Yeah,
what's
y'all
up?
need
Yeah.
that? I'm just kidding. No, I'm playing. I'm kidding.
I'm crying. Yeah, what's up with y'all? Come holler at you girls. Come talk with us and
Yeah.
have a good time, you know? Like,
Yes.
come on, we're not scary people. And
Yeah.
with that being said, y'all stay blessed, never stress, and we'll catch y'all next week.
Deuces, y'all. Bye.